Hi everyone, it's Charlie. Big surprise, there's another Game of Thrones teaser trailer they released this morning. They're calling it the official tease, so I don't know if that means that there's going to be another big trailer before the season starts. Whatever they wind up dropping, I'll totally make videos for it. But this, as you can tell, no dialogue, just meant to be very atmospheric and give you a tone for what the battle's going to be like. Because the season is getting started, the giveaways now are going to be for HBO Now subscriptions. All you have to do to enter those are just be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. There were also a bunch of brand new screen grabs from episode 1, so I'll break those down after I talk about this footage. The teaser is meant to be the next morning after this big battle with the White Walkers and the Night King goes down. So it starts on the flag of Winterfell blowing in the wind in the courtyard that you've seen in all the episodes before. Then as the camera pans to the side, you get a full view of the devastation from the battle with the Night King and the White Walkers. Everything is wrecked, snow is covering everything. Like winter has come, so it's snowing, but you look at the ground and all these preview images of Tyrion inspecting everything the first couple of episodes. Then you look at the ground here, and it's just another reference to the idea that the Night King brings winter wherever he goes. As the camera starts to float around, you start to see very specific objects in different places referencing each of the big characters. So the first one is what seems like dragonglass arrows. We know that Gendry's making a bunch of dragonglass weapons for everyone. There's a close-up shot of what seems like the forge area where Gendry was making weapons in the other trailer with all the fire pits turned over, everything just wrecked. Then they move to the wolf statue, which is a reference to the dire wolves. Ghost is going to be back for season 8, no worries, but I don't know how many episodes he's going to be in. This area will seem familiar. You see the Hand of the Queen pin that Daenerys gave to Tyrion back during season 6. This is the dog kennel where Tyrion woke up in season 1, episode 2 because he got too drunk the night before. They were making fun of him. Also notable because this is the same area later in that episode where he slapped the crap out of Joffrey.
One word, and I hit you again.
I'm telling Mother.
The camera moves around again to a different area. There's a quick window, what seems like the armory or the kennels, maybe the storeroom. There were a lot of shields and supplies strewn about in the background behind these bars, but the point is mostly to show you Arya Stark's needle stuck in the ground in the middle of the frame here. The camera floats up on top of the walls. You see turned over fire pits. Notice the details in the walls here. These spikes actually look a little bit like wolf ears, but they're just part of the practical defenses built into the walls, just making it that much harder for people or undead wights, in this case, to climb over the walls. The camera moves to another part of the upper levels in the courtyard, and you see the exotic bird feather that Robert Baratheon left at Lyanna Stark's tomb during Season 1, Episode 1. We also saw it in the Season 8 teaser trailer a couple months ago when Jon Snow was walking past her statue. That teaser wasn't meant to be actual footage of the show. The real bird feather in the context of the show was taken by Sansa from Lyanna Stark's tomb during Season 5 when she was down in the crypts. Remember, she and Littlefinger had that conversation in front of Lyanna Stark's statue? So I think this scene here, the exotic bird feather, is a reference to Sansa because all the main characters get little references and objects all over the teaser, and Sansa's one of the bigger characters this season. So bird feather Sansa floats to the ground, and you notice at the bottom of this staircase is Bran's wheelchair turned over and smashed. The camera creeps along the ground. You see Jaime's golden hand. Behind it, as the camera refocuses, is Daenerys' special dragon chain that she was wearing during all of Season 7. The camera continues on towards the south gate, and you see the wind blow the snow away, uncovering Longclaw. And then behind that, as the frame widens, you see the shape of the Night King slowly walking south through the gate, with the Winds of Winter seemingly following him, foreshadowing that he's heading south to King's Landing now that he's seemingly destroyed Winterfell. Winterfell has fallen, so it's just implying a very grim future for Winterfell and everyone there. But you ask, where are the bodies if these characters are all supposed to be dead in this? What happens to people killed by White Walkers? Oh yeah, light bulb goes on. But really, this teaser is just meant to be very atmospheric and very ominous. This isn't exactly the way things are going to go down, even though this looks like an actual scene from the episode. Just because you see all these main characters' objects strewn about the field of battle doesn't mean that they're dead or dying. That being said, I am expecting a couple big deaths during this big Winterfell battle. But I think that most of the main characters will probably make it to that next big conflict south at King's Landing. We don't know exactly the timing of everything, but I am expecting another battle in Episode 5, so there will be more than one battle during Season 8. It's just that this Winterfell battle is supposed to be the longest one. This is the one that they're hyping up as their version of the Battle of Helm's Deep. So the real question is how long does the Night King survive? Because there's definitely more than one big battle, so there either has to be some twist in this episode 3 battle where he makes it south to King's Landing, but they wind up fighting off a lot of the army of the dead, Winterfell winds up getting destroyed, but most of the main characters wind up crawling away still alive. I think largely what's going to happen, just based on what they're implying here, is that this will whittle down their forces in the north so that by the time they wind up in a situation where they're in a conflict with Cersei, their different forces are a little more evened out. Because right now, the majority of armies in Westeros are collected up in the north. So Cersei, that's why she had to hire the Golden Company, because she's badly in need of more troops. Moving on to the new screen grabs, I believe these are all from episode 1 from different scenes. So you see Daenerys with Ser Jorah in the courtyard at Winterfell. Maybe this is right before she walks up to meet Sansa. You see Jorah with Ser Davos, probably right after that moment where Daenerys walks up, so it's just the two of them. You see Stark soldiers in a Knight of the Vale in the background just watching them. There's a couple different shots of Daenerys and Jon Snow in the courtyard together, either before or after this big meeting, because look at her winter coat here with Jorah. Just seems like a new version of the one she wore last season with red in it, just made to look almost exactly the same, just a slightly different color though. But now look at her with Jon Snow here. On her shoulder, it seems like she's got this extra wolf pelt or bear pelt, whatever animal pelt she's wearing. So maybe while they're there, he gives her some extra layers because it's extra cold and she's so used to living in the east where it's super hot all the time. So maybe these scenes of her with Jon Snow outside, because you see them later in different places outside of Winterfell, is after the scenes of her with Jorah inside this room here. So it seems like there are multiple different scenes here, unless Daenerys is wearing this dress that's a little bit different underneath this white coat. It's kind of hard to tell without us actually getting a scene with her taking that coat off. It seems like these pictures are her meeting with Sansa inside, who we now actually see the other side of that frame. So you can see Sansa wearing her brand new BDSM armor gear. She is not messing around this season. The looks on their faces make it sound like this is all the drama that people have been worried about, like, ooh, we're gonna have to cringe our way through this. Hopefully it doesn't last more than a couple episodes. There's another scene of Daenerys and Jon Snow seemingly away from Winterfell somewhere else outside where it seems like he's showing her something and she's really excited by it. Without seeing the other side of this frame, just guessing what it is that she's looking at, the only things around Winterfell that are that spectacular would be the landscape itself. So maybe she just finds it very beautiful, but there could be something really cool that's different on the other side of this. We'll find out pretty soon. You get another shot inside the Great Hall of Winterfell where it looks like they're all meeting, trying to argue with each other about what they're going to do next. You see Jon Royce, the Little Bear, Brienne, and Ser Davos sitting next to each other. There's another shot of Tyrion from that same scene with his crazy look on his face like he can't believe what's going on. Daenerys behind them too, also with a similar look like she can't believe what's going on. There's a separate shot of Varys in the back of a wagon. This is probably at the beginning when they're arriving at Winterfell, looking like he just can't handle the cold. Like, I was not made for this. He's from the East, that's where he grew up, but he's also spent the majority of his adult life since he started working for the Mad King as the Master of Whispers, living in the South, so he's just not accustomed to any of this cold weather. Then you get another new shot of Cersei on the Iron Throne in her new outfit with those new shoulder pads with Qyburn sitting next to her. And that's meant to be it, but let me know in the comments if you spotted any other Easter eggs in these new scenes that I didn't mention in the video. I'll be doing more regular Game of Thrones bonus videos later this week. Obviously, there's all the big Marvel, Avengers, Endgame stuff that drop. If you have special Game of Thrones videos you want me to do, just let me know in the comments below. I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post new Game of Thrones,